Teleological thinking has a long history in the creation of global modernity, both in places where it is articulated and theorized in books and philosophies in 18th century Europe, as well as in the way that it is lived out in places like South America, or parts of Asia, or Arabia, or parts of Africa. Although in the Enlightenment officially what was talked about was the world, and largely they were referring to Europe, getting closer and closer and closer to knowledge of the good, the true, and the beautiful. That idea was also used to justify colonization. The three C's were also part of the telos: civilization, Christianity, and commerce. These were the aims that colonization was striving for in different parts of the world, at least officially. The presence of Britain, France, Germany, Portugal, Spain, and the attempts of Italy in different parts of Africa were supposed to build civilization, build commerce, build Christianity. All of these visions of the world were coming from Western Europe, and to this day are still used in some ways to talk about the state of countries in the world. Countries are still ranked according to this system, where you have countries that are doing very well according to the aims of global society, which many third world countries also sign up to. And these are countries that perhaps today we might find ranked here as perhaps some of the wealthiest countries in the world, or countries with great respect for human rights, or countries with great economic growth, and countries that are here that are supposed to be working harder to catching up with these, and countries that are here that are supposed to be working harder to catch up with those. Whether it is Christianity, whether it is economic growth, whether it is human rights, this line serves that purpose very well. And the gradation of societies according to this line serves in many periods of ranking and describing the world over the last couple of centuries. There are criticisms of this way of talking about the world, whether you want to call it Christianizing or civilizing or modernizing or developing the world, that in the way that they frame how we understand the world, they make people think that every country or every unit that is analyzed, whether it is here or here or here, is doing or performing as it is ranked in the system because of something inherent to it. In this line, there is no relationship really between this country and this one, or this one and that one. It's as if each dot is either running fast or not running fast, and each dot needs to be held individually accountable for its own success or lack of success. The critical study of African history, for instance, or different parts of African history, cannot be sustained very well by this. We see this, for instance, in the highly criticized comments of the President of France when he said that Africa has a civilizational problem. That statement makes sense if you think of civilization as teleological in this manner, and some of the dots or countries or continents represented here not having a civilizational problem. That is, they are ready and exercising fast enough to go up to the line of teleological happiness and bliss. Now, there is a criticism that says when we look at actual history, the arrival of a country that has ranked itself here into the territory of a country that is now ranked at the bottom is a real relationship that needs to be represented. When one country colonizes another country, they establish very powerful links that structure what is happening in this country, whereas this country might influence what is happening here. It doesn't really have the power to tell this country what to do. It is common, for instance, to have bodies that are represented from countries that we might call today the North, going to tell governments in these parts of the world what to do. But I'm yet in my lifetime to hear of a delegation from a country in the South going into the government offices or halls of power in a country in the North to tell them what economic policy to apply or what government policy to bring about. Yet we do see this kind of relationship occurring in the opposite. The video that you will watch on dependency theory says that we cannot think of these relationships as unrelated because history and social institutions, this including material conditions, as well as ideas, play a role in the ranking that we end up having here.